lacking a colossal amount of money at the moment. With which we shall build marketplaces in Moronis. Because Moronis is going to be exporting a lot of stuff. And in fact, we have civic power again. So, I want to see who's got some slaves so that they can send to Moronis. You need 7 more. Two can be moved from here. You need 5 more. Civic power. Just double check. Yeah, Dolem is a precious metals producer, but it's not an important precious metals producer right now. I mean, all precious metal producers are important, of course, but it's not one of the big ones. Making an impression opposition offers many ways to publicly flatter Hroko Grundred. Careful praise of his deeds in the halls of government among the notaries of our country will be sure to find his way back to his ears. Alternatively, a lavish sacrifice in his honour can hardly go unignored. And then again, few can spurn the gift of a public statue in their honour, particularly a flattering one. So we can publicly praise him and his deeds. Sacrifice a bull. Commission a sculpture or let's not go crazy. I think we're going to publicly praise his and his deeds. We have a lot of oratory income. Like, our oratory skill's quite good. So we'll do that. Although I also want to spend my oratory on promotions. By the way, you should be able to see armies' tactics in their settings before unlocking the military tradition. Yeah, that would be another nice one. What's the AI like? Competent? Tough to say, Roham. I haven't had that many interactions with the AI, frankly. Like, we've been playing quite a isolated game here. Playing as, say, one of the Greek city-states would probably give you more about that. Of all the ways of making friends, a gift is perhaps the oldest and the simplest. In the world of politics, wealth shared generously and unconditionally has more influence than kind words or affection. How much of this friendship is Hroko Grundred worth? We'll make a large amount of progress towards befriending Hroko. We'll give him 250 personal wealth. This should do the trick. Like I said, it's good to be wealthy. And again, personal wealth, not national. You should be able to see army tactics. Oh! No. Or else we don't get any special tactics. But some of these aren't tactics. They... like hit and run tactic. Oh, hit and run is a tactic, isn't it? Doesn't appear here. Can't. For a moment I had a bit of a mind blank. How do you see personal wealth? You just click on the person, it's right here. So because he is the king... he's the king! It's the first time I called him the king. He makes a lot of money from just being the king. That's true. How's my wages changed? I feel like they've actually gone down a bit. I guess fewer people are being corrupt sods. Yeah, the other thing I need to do is make sure that these guys are actually in provinces which can maintain them. You are. You are. You are. You are. That's just because it's winter. Yeah, it's January and we're in a very cold area. Fair enough. And it's just for things such as building roads, raiding ports and such one-time actions. You pay military every time. Raise levies is here. Oh, and here are the stats. Aha. So my heavy infantry discipline is... yeah, it's really good, actually. Heavy infantry is definitely the bread and butter, and actually my archers are pretty strong. Anyway, raise levies ability, that's one of them. That is in fact the only one, so what does it do? Following effects, we pay 50 military, we get 11 units of light infantry. Gain increased tensions modifier for 5 years, which prevents raise levies from being used again. It applies a +2 local unrest modifier. I suspect that's per province, however. Now, is that because we have 11 pops here, so it probably empties the province out of population and raises those light infantry? Not sure. But yes, it's a way of getting free troops if we need them. Interesting, that's actually quite strong. Periodic stuttering when a day goes by is aggravating. Yeah, there are definitely a few stutters and jitters here and there. Our efforts to encourage a friendship between Okarama and Hroko have paid off. We are now friends with Hroko. Excellent. However, he is still supremely disloyal. Mostly because he has his own army. Which we could bribe away from him. Just need to make sure that we maintain a much bigger army. So who is he? Hroko. Oh, I have my own army. Nice. Rando. Ramlak. He doesn't have an army. Oh yes he does, he has this one. Be nice if the reward veterans button was on this screen too. Although I guess that's on a per character basis, these guys aren't necessarily loyal to him, but because this is a former retinue, they are. We're going to have to do some serious work removing retinues and then kind of rebuilding our armies to a more modern standard. So militarily, we are a little bit vulnerable right now. Not the mercenary army. Segramundri. How are we doing? We needed 5 more slaves. Move you. Maronis. 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 2 more slaves required. Aha! And we can get them from you. So let's move these 2 to Ibadura. And Ibadura can move 2 to Maronis. Now Maronis produces an extra iron which somebody else can now buy from us, which will give us the export bonus. Iron for sale! Come buy your iron, come on! We got lots of tasty iron, you know you want it. Iron, iron, iron. Loads of great juicy iron over here. Come on, who wants some iron? I know somebody does. Probably. It's your loyal cohorts that are causing the biggest problem. Okay. How much are the laws? 250. We'll need to wait for that. Yes, you want to buy the iron. That's going to give me more heavy infantry discipline. I accept. And now, if I go to the military, show stats, 25 discipline for my heavy infantry. Dwarven heavy infantry is amazing. So that's basically 25 damage, 25% extra damage done, 25% extra damage... No, 25% extra damage done, 25% damage reduced, received. Yeah. You take 25% less damage and you do 25% more. There we go. Simple. The Council of Bilatis have sent an envoy proclaiming that the harvest, trade, taxation have all produced a huge surplus this year. In a splendid show of national spirit, they decided to offer the additional income to the state. Or you can build a half-price marketplace. Go ahead, build a half-price marketplace. And in fact, I think we probably want to go ahead and do some more of those too. So, overview. Who is the most freeman right now? Vistula. So, I think the Vistula is going to keep those freemen, and we're going to build a bunch of recruitment centres here. Although we're getting decent manpower at the moment, we could always do with more. There we go. Let the army numbers start to swell. Carusian revolt immediately breaks out. For them. It looks like Moria is going on the warpath to reclaim some of their lost territories. Unsurprisingly, really. Rome's still... Oh no, Rome's at war with Carthage! It's the Punic Wars! Finally! They've broken out! Longbeard territory seems to have increased since you last saw it. Longbeards are doing well. I'm pretty happy with their progress thus far. I'm losing a lot of attrition. A lot of manpower to attrition, though. Transition phase is definitely going to take a while. 5 years old. You're going to be a very good orator, if you survive. And your support is all dwindling, so our legitimacy is going up. Your general legitimacy is going down. Yeah. Okay, so popularity does have an impact. And it's going down quite quickly. Wait, are you unmarried again? Oh, you're unmarried again. So... there needs to be like an age sorting mechanism. These are more available. You have a high civic power, which is good. Now, genetics does play a role in this game. A portion of the stats of your parents are given to the kids. She's very good at military, decent at civics. I want someone who's good at civics. Like, we have fallen really far behind in that. Like, it needs to be balanced, so the 3, 11, 5, 8... possibly? You're 34, which is a little old. 5, 7, 7, 7, 8, 5. 7, 8, 5. I mean, we do want oratory because that is an important stat. I think Lachlid Gundruda is going to be the choice here. uncaring, crafty, and lapsed. Wahlberg could also be good. A little older though. Yeah, I think we're going to go Lachlade. There we are. I like the Paradox isn't afraid of including women in this game. When you start the game, you can actually choose whether you want your nations to have enforced, agnatic, cognatic, or historical. So if you want to play with matriarchies early on, you can do so. It's one of the start game settings. The Dwaldid reforms. The poor, numerous, downtrodden have long argued for inclusion in the great armies of Langobardia. After generations of oppression, one man has risen to challenge the status quo and to represent the interests of these lower classes. Sigmund Dwaldus, who many argue is one of the greatest minds of our generation, holds a crucial stance in our court, walking the fine line between populism and nobility, whilst retaining credibility amongst his peers. Ever an innovative thinker, he has tabled a proposition demanding the complete overhaul of our recruitment policies and allowing greater inclusion of the lower classes in the matters of state military. Such a radical reform is sure to have consequences, whichever stance we take. So we can have the military reforms, which will last for 20 years. It will increase unrest, it will increase army morale, and it will increase manpower recovery speed. That's a really big bonus to manpower recovery. And we also gain 300 military. Or we say no, and Sigmund loses a bunch of loyalty. He is our friend, though. We are pretty stable at this stage. Do it. Let's modernise. We're all about the modernising right now. Mars Atlas, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Am I planning any wars? Yeah, I think we will be doing wars. My main objective was to become a monarchy, which we now are. Now we need to do a little bit of stabilising, though not too much. We're actually in a pretty good position at the moment. I'd like to start playing with some of the laws, but I think that's going to have to be something that waits for next time. Hey Fred. Imperator Rome is finally out. All hail the prophet. Indeed, it is now out. I thought women were invented by feminists in the 1910s. Isdar's joking there, Caliph. Don't worry. What's my view on the game? So, my view on the game is 7.5 out of 10. Thought you were playing as Rome. No, I'm playing as Langobards. So, yeah, 7 out of 5. So, it is... If you are a veteran of Paradox Grand Strategy games, you will probably like it. You'll get a lot of game time out of this. If you are new to Grand Strategy, then I would probably recommend you start with one of the other ones, like Europa Universalis, or probably best yet, Stellaris. Stellaris, I would still say, is the best gateway drug to Grand Strategy. However, if you are already into Grand Strategy, then you will find this really good. The underpinning mechanics are excellent. The design decisions generally made are very good. I'm trying to remember all the points I've raised. I've talked about this a few times now. And we know from experience that Paradox are the kings of expansions. They do a lot of DLCs, and the base platform that they've established here is a really good starting point for hanging more features on. I can definitely see areas of expansion, but I don't think they've really dumbed down anything. This is just a very good platform to build upon. It's a great foundation. There are a couple of critiques and criticisms I have, in particular the UI. One of the really big things about Europa Universalis 4 when it was released is they made a huge deal about we've improved the UI, we've worked really hard on this. And I do feel like this is a little bit of a step backwards from where they were with Europa Universalis 4 and other games. This game has obviously been in development for quite a long time, and some of the ease of use, quality things in EU4, in Hearts of Iron, in Crusader Kings, etc. are not in this. I have complete faith that they will be added, they're just not there at the moment. And also a couple of functional things are kind of hidden in menus or just not present. For example, the fact there is no ledger is criminal. It absolutely needs a ledger and doesn't have one. And then also some of the map modes, for example the provincial map mode, is nice, but it needs more information. So like, this is the main place to change your governor policy. Doesn't actually tell you anything about, for example, the culture of this province or the religion of this province. Doesn't give you a breakdown of the percentages that are citizens, freemen, slaves or tribesmen. It needs that kind of information, and that kind of thing is very obscure. It's difficult to like drill down to the details you need to make the decisions that you need to make. I very strongly feel like that's going to be changed. Like Paradox are very good for player feedback, and that's exactly the kind of feedback that players will be giving. So it's going to take a patch or two to like reach its true release potential. But in terms of like the strength of the mechanics, the strength of the design, it's really good. Like the game is there, it just needs a bit more polish, which I think frankly is a post-release issue. So yeah, I like it. 7.5. Solid. If you're bad at grand strategy, then it's spooky to get into, but the tutorial does help quite a bit. Yeah, the tutorial for this is very good, but the tutorial very much takes the perspective that you are a veteran of grand strategy. It doesn't tell you how to do things, it just tells you what's available. For example, the tutorial is you are playing as Rome, and it says, fabricate a claim against Etruscans. It doesn't tell you how to do it, just says fabricate a claim. Then you fabricate the claim and it says declare war. Doesn't give you any tips about how the war is fought, doesn't tell you anything about the strategies, it just says declare war and then win the war. So it tells you what's available, but doesn't necessarily do a good job of telling you how to do things. Anyway, I'm going to end this stream here because I am hungry and I want some dinner. I will be back in an hour, as is usual, so 10 o'clock this evening we will be resuming. I am going to be doing Imperator Rome again this evening. This is, after all, the release day, and I know that lots of people are asking about, is it actually good? Because I've been holding off on reviewing basically anything on this until now, until the embargo lifts. So if you have any questions, if you want me to drill into anything like that, hey Ben, yeah, you've arrived just as I'm leaving, then do let me know and I will go into those details. And of course, if you're just joining us, come back in an hour, because I'll be here again then. So, see you at 10. Bye everyone.